Welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. Guys, we are so excited for you guys to be back with us. We're excited to be back, talk a lot of sports, because a lot of stuff has been happening, and we've been missing y'all, man. So, how you been, Kenneth?
I mean, I've been good. I mean, can't complain. It's just been really good lately. So, I mean, we got a lot to unpack. It's a lot of things that's happened over the break while we've been gone. So, I mean, we just dive straight into it.
Yeah, let's dive straight into it. And I think one of the first things that we're going to go into is we have a lot of transfers from football. We have a new football coach. We're going to get into that as well. Basketball season is going strong, both men's and women's. Tennis is in season. Track is in season as well. There's plenty of things we're going to go into, so I think it's safe to just dive into the first topic of today. We're going to go straight into women's basketball. Prairie View women's basketball team faced some tough competition over the break, starting with a hard-fought game against Georgia on November 26, where they fell 62-79. Despite the loss, Michaela Hutchinson stood out with 13 points. Fast forward to December 29th, Prairie View showcased a dominant performance at home, defeating Wiley with a commanding 85-44 victory, led by Casey Chairs with 11-point contribution. Their SWAC journey has been a roller coaster, with the recent win against Alcorn State on January 16th, ending in 62-52, improving their conference record. However, the Lady Panthers faced a 52-62 loss against Alabama A&M Monday, January 27th at the Alabama A&M University Event Center. The Lady Panthers held their only early lead in the game in the first quarter by 1 point. After the Lady Bulldogs amassed the lead in the second, they continued this lead throughout the game. The bench of Prairie View scored 32 of the 52 points, and the top performers were Adriana Waddle with 13 points and 8 points from each Crystal Schultz and Niam Thornton. Stay tuned as they continue their quest for consistency throughout conference play.
On the men's side, Prairie View A&M's men's basketball team had its fair share of difficulties during the break. Notable victories include the 73-55 win against Grambling on January the 4th, where Tahaj Pettaway lit up the court for 24 points. Another thrilling win comes on January the 11th against Mississippi Valley State with a 74-65 final score. However, they faced a nail-biter against Southern on January the 6th, nearly losing 80-84, despite a valiant effort. Finally, on Monday, January 27th, the Prairie View A&M men's basketball team took on Alabama A&M and faced an 82-98 loss at the University of Alabama Event Center, where they faced the Bulldogs in conference play. The Panthers trailed in 40-30 in the half and continued to trail throughout the second half. Despite a 7-0 run to cut the lead to 7 points with 14 minutes left in the second, the Panthers were just outscored throughout the rest of the game. Braylon Bush finished with a season high of 28 points, and Tahaj Pettaway continued to contribute 22 points as well. The Panthers are sitting at 4-17 overall this season and drops to 3-5 in SWAC rankings. Their overall grit and determination keeps them fighting in SWAC competition. And Khalid, I just wanted to talk about how we've been playing lately. I mean, we have some notable losses, but we did play a very great non-conference schedule. We played multiple teams that are ranked SEC teams, Big 12 teams, Big 10 teams, all types of teams that we played. How do you feel about these overall play, how the team has been playing overall?
Well, so I've been following the team even when we're not here in the studio. I think one of the biggest things that we need to focus on for this segment specifically is their three-point shooting, their three-point percentage, as well as their defense. You know, Orlando Horton Jr. is he's hovering around 2 steals a game. We have Marcel Bryant, who you remember Brian Miles from last year. He's no Brian Miles, but he can stretch the floor, rebound, and he has, I think, over 40 blocks into this conference play already for this season. So when you think about this team, you also see a sense of small ball, but we also have height. So we have a mix between 2 different play styles. But what I've also seen is we're able to limit turnovers, but turnovers are our caveat. Our rebounding has still been our caveat as well. This is not to take away from their play, though. They're leading in multiple categories, and like I said, one of their three-point percentage is in the top 5 in the SWAC, which is commendable, meaning that they take good three-point shots and they don't make as many compared to other teams, but their percentage is all the way up there. So I think looking at this team, the last few losses we had, just the most recent one against Alabama A&M, we were shorthanded on players as well. I just want that to be known as well. We only had about 10 active players. And Alabama A&M had their whole roster. Braylon Bush has been amazing coming off the bench and starting for the Panthers. He had 28 last night. Pettaway has been SWAC I want to say SWAC Player of the Week twice.
Yes.
You know, so and at a time was the leader in points in the SWAC.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about this team, we're no short when it comes to offense. We can score and deliver offensively. It's just about rebounding and getting those second chance points. I think again, the game against Alcorn State, we let number 15, excuse me for his first name, but his last name is Bennett. He had 17 boards, 17 or 18 boards.
Can't be allowed in that time.
And a lot of those boards were offensive rebounds. So he had a double-double and went perfect from the field. So I think when we look at all these games, even the game against Oklahoma, I know you mentioned a lot of the bigger teams we played. At one point, we had them at 4 points going into the half. Prairie View keeping Oklahoma at 4 points in that. I say all this to say, we're a very good team. And we've proven to be battle-tested. I know that's something that I was using even in the beginning of it. We're battle-tested, and I believe that that's what's going to get us through conference play despite what our record is.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you on that because I definitely would say that everything that's been going on lately just with the conference play, I just hope they don't lose confidence because, you know, it's hard to be at 4-17, but y'all are 3-5 in SWAC play because I know they definitely were looking at SWAC play as a way to build back up that record. And so we have a lot of games that are going on. I know we have TSU coming up. That's going to be a really big game.
That's a big game. It's a
Prairie
rival
View,
game.
please, fans, y'all have to come and support out to all of our Panthers and just be there in the situations. So let's move to tennis.
Yes.
Over on the courts, the Prairie View's tennis team opened their season with mixed results. Despite their losses, including against SMU at the Tennis Complex in Dallas, Texas on January the 10th, 2025. The Panthers fought hard in doubles and single matches, coming home with a record of 0-2 in doubles and with one match going unfinished and 1-5 in singles. Takima Walker returned with the day's only win, demolishing the opponent with a match score of 6-2 and 4-2. Recently, the men and women's team competed at Texas A&M Corpus Christi and had taken a loss in each match, played to total 16 losses in competition. In doubles, Eduardo Nunez and Devin Gaines scored 3 points but were defeated by Etienne Marty and Nathan Ferrer, sorry for the names. In singles, oh Lord, and I don't know how to say it, and put up a great fight, scoring 2 in the first match and 4 in the second. Prairie View will face Tarleton State at home Saturday, February the 1st, where they look to turn the tide of their very early season.
And we're going to go straight to commercial break. This is the first half of our recap. You know, there's a lot more we need to talk about. It's a lot more exciting sports news we need to talk about. But we're going to take this commercial break very, very quick, and we'll be right back with more Panther Sports Zone. And moving on to tennis. So over on the courts, Prairie View A&M tennis team opened up their season with mixed results. Despite their losses, including facing off against SMU at the Slinger Altec Tennis Complex in Dallas, Texas on January 10, 2025. The Panthers fought hard in doubles and single matches, coming home with a record of 0-2 in doubles, with one match going unfinished and 1-5 in singles. Takuma Walker returned with the day's only win, demolishing his opponent with match scores of 6-2 and 4-2. Recently, men and women's tennis competed against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, had taken a loss in each match, playing a total of 16 and losing each in the competition. In doubles, Eduardo Nunez and Devin Gaines scored 3 points collectively, but were defeated by Etienne Marty and Nathan Favier. In singles, Abdul Rahim Issa put up a great fight, scoring 2 in the first match and 4 in the second. Prairie View will face Tarleton State at home Saturday, February 1st, where they look to turn the tide of their very early season. And after this, we're going to go straight to commercial break. We're going to give you guys more sports news coming up shortly. We will see you guys after the break. Perfect. And then...
We did the break because I was just going to say, when we come back, we'll start talking about your, and then we'll just back into it. It's good to, true.
Okay.
So when we come back in, just...
All right. You ready? Yeah. So then you got. All right.
Count for 5, small count.
From 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, from 5, small count.
Okay.
And you'll bring us back in from break.
I'm going to say, welcome back to Panther Sports.
All right. Can you let Josh know I'm counting from 5? I want to count from 5.
And welcome back to Panther Sports Zone, where you get all your PVAMU sports news. As we move into track, meanwhile, the track and field teams hit the ground running quite literally with the strong showings at the HBCU showcase on January the 18th. Highlighting Devin Miller securing 4th place in high jump with his set record of 2 meters, while Derek Mukuri secured a 45 meters. Bryce McFadden clinched the 8th in the 200 meter with a time of 22:12, followed by Caleb Atkinson taking home 7th with 50-40-92, and Kenan Hill taking 8th in the 400 meters. Now on the women's side, Savora Anderson placed 2nd in the triple jump for a distance of 11.82 meters. Trezor Betha placed 5th, running 600 yards in 1 minute and 28 seconds. 1 minute, 28 seconds and 48, following by the Sanaya Kitchen, finishing 8th in the 60 mile with a time of 7.80. Hurdling 60 meters with a time of 8.74. To cap it all off, Denia Gravery finished 7th in the 60 meters with a time of 7.77 meters.
And to continue, we're going to go right into bowling. Now let's see what the Panthers have been doing. The Panthers have been taking their A game at the International Training and Research Center Invitational in Arlington, Texas. Competing against top schools like Vanderbilt and LSU, the team highlighted their skills and secured 2 wins against Texas Southern in 2 matches with scores of 958 to 919 and 987 to 683. Top performers were Amani Moore with 1,126 pins with an average of 186.67, and Jada Gordon with 1,105 pins with an average of 184.17. Winning their only 2 matches against Texas Southern, they head to D'Iberville, Mississippi for the SWAC East Roundup scheduled for February 7th, 2025, where they hope to leverage their experience gained at the Prairie View Invitational to enhance their performance. And to kind of touch about how bowling is going on, you know, despite their slow start to this season, should you be worried?
No, you should not be worried at all. I'm going to tell our fans all Panthers fans, if you watch bowling, if you're a fan of it, even if you just like to look at the banners they have up in the strike zone, you should not be worried at all. I mean, it's just a complete dominance. I mean, I look at us as a dynasty when it comes to bowling. I feel like they can't be stopped or anything. So just to like a slow start to the season, that doesn't mean nothing for me. In any sports that we have, it always is about how you finish. So just depending on how they're playing right now, it just doesn't matter, because I know truly what it can look like when we get into those SWAC games, when we're playing teams that we're usually used against playing against. These are all filler games right now, just to see where you're at mentally, to see, okay, how are you stacking up against other big competition that we won't usually play when it comes down to conference play. Yeah. So I feel like you shouldn't be worried. I mean, it's only so much that can happen. I mean, losses are normal. I mean, it happens. It's only for growth when it comes to being an athlete. So I feel as what they're playing, they're just going to be all right. When we get to conference play, it's going to be a whole different story. We're going to be looking at them winning to the point where we're tired of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, like we both said, yes, you know, when we saw this team, you go to the strike zone, you're going to see their banners. They're SWAC champions almost every year, if not every year. And I believe that, and to kind of highlight a major win was against Texas Southern. Texas Southern was the only SWAC competition they faced at the competition that they were at. And they came away with 2 wins against their own conference opponents. When you look at the other games, I mean, the other matches that they participated in, they've shown dominance. Yeah. They've shown, even in the loss, they've shown that they were almost neck and neck. There's been plenty of times when we're seeing this team persevere through wins and losses, or specifically losses, and they take those losses and they turn those into learning experiences. So I believe that this bowling team is going to continue their dominance as they do every single year, and they're going to lift up another banner into that strike zone that we.
I mean, I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it. I'm probably going to go to the strike zone after this.
Exactly. But we're going to go straight to commercial one more time for the last stretch of news that we have for you guys. We're going to talk about Tremaine Jackson being our new head coach for Prairie View, as well as a fellow Pro Bowler who was once playing here at Prairie View. We will see you guys after this commercial break. Welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. We're going to dive right into this next topic, which is Tremaine Jackson being the new head coach of Prairie View A&M University's very own football team.
By the end of last season, the Prairie View A&M football team department decided to take out Coach McDowell and recruit a new head coach. This new head coach is Tremaine Jackson. Jackson has a good record of his many successes in his profession of football, starting as a defensive line coach for Texas A&M University Kingsville and then to Trinity Valley. Jackson spent his final years in the Texas Southern as a defensive coordinator and transferred to other schools like Evangel, Sonics Fall, Abilene Christian, and Texas State. In his 2020-2021 year season, Jackson became the head coach for the Division II Colorado Mesa Mavericks. That year with the Mavs, he ended the season with a record of 10 wins and 3 losses and a 7-2 record in conference play. After that season, Jackson transferred to head coach to the Valladolid State Blazers, giving them a 30-9 record and an appearance to the NCAA divisional quarterfinals and led to the championship. On behalf of the Panther Sports Zone family, we are hopeful and excited to see how you develop this team as they execute this up-and-coming football season.
And with that being said, on the topic of football, we have somebody that's not familiar with playing with Prairie View. While the NFL season is coming to a close, the Pro Bowl is underway with a surprise for our Panthers. Football alumni KhaDarel Hodge, a wide receiver for the Falcons, has been invited to this year's Pro Bowl. Hodge was key for the Panthers and for the Falcons. With the Falcons, he recorded 104 receptions with 1,797 yards with 21 touchdowns for the Panthers as well. Furthermore, recording 7 receptions for the Falcons, he had 7 receptions and 131 yards with an average of almost 19 yards per reception for the Falcons. With these stats, it shows his dominance on the field from one Panther to another. We are right behind you and celebrating your success.
And Khalid, we spoke on Coach Tremaine Jackson. I mean, as I've been looking at the news, all the news that he's been doing, all the moves he's making, transfer-wise, coaching-wise, how do you feel about this upcoming season? Because, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people that came in. Obviously, his coach is from the last university that he was at. And also, I've been seeing a lot of things of the players that he's getting, a lot of Division I players that are coming to want to play for Coach Jackson. How do you feel about this upcoming season for the Prairie View A&M Panthers?
So one of the biggest things about Tremaine Jackson coming here now, I just want to put this all out there. This guy is
a winner.
That doesn't describe all he is. When you look at that man's resume, you see what he did at the Division II level, the Division I level. He was also part of that Southern team that went and won in SWAC play and were SWAC championships. He was a part of that team. Everything that you look at when you think about Tremaine Jackson, he's a defensive-nosed coach. And everybody else that he brought in along with him. A few of these people were also coaches under him, and there were players under him. A lot of these players that he's recruiting are also defensive. They play defense, but he also brought in a few offensive guys as well from some pretty reputable colleges in the Division I space. A lot of those players do come from Division IIs. A lot of them come from JUCO. But I think one of the biggest takeaways from having Coach Jackson as our new football head coach is that he knows how to establish a defense. Every single position he has been in, coaching-wise or as a player, he has been defensive-minded. And I think when you look at what we have already, I know last season we had, for example, we had our very own not tight end, but defensive tackle. I'm trying to remember. Burns.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The point is,
yes,
we have plenty of really good, hard-nosed defensive guys. And that's something that I know Tremaine Jackson will continue to bring on for us being a head coach for the Panthers.
Definitely. I definitely can agree. I mean, I think my biggest addition that he added to, it doesn't have anything to do with players. I think my biggest addition that he has added to our staff is actual recruiting coach. The recruiting coach, he comes from South Oak Cliff, so that's coming from an area where I am from. I'm from Dallas, so looking at all those players and talent, I go to always keep up with any football team or anything like that, just to keep those type of people in your circle, to have them to actually recruit inside of Texas. I feel like that's the biggest thing that we can add on to our football team, definitely with recruiting, because, we get a lot of JUCO recruits, which isn't anything wrong. JUCO recruits are obviously well established in their position by the time they get to a next D1 school. But I feel as you have to really push into that narrative of recruiting out of high school too. So I feel them getting a recruiter that is from the South Oak Cliff area that can actually push more recruiting from Dallas kids in as a whole. And it doesn't matter just from Dallas kids as a whole. It can really just be a whole pipeline through North Texas. I mean, there's already a lot of Dallas people that go here to Prairie View, so I feel like it's time we have a lot more athletes to go here too.
And that's true. And I'm pretty sure I'm certain actually that they're going to continue to just dominate the recruiting pool right now because they've done that anyway. And we'll get into a little bit more of that on Across the Board when we go live on Friday with more updates and a little bit more analysis into everything that we're talking about. But that wraps up today's Coming Back show.
Yes.
And, you know, we're excited to have you guys back now. We're starting to get in the flow of things again. We're gone for about 2 months. But coming back to Panther Sports Zone, we're going to give you guys some of the most updated, most live stats we have. And we're going to use Across the Board to kind of dive into those, the events that we're talking about, the occurrences that we're talking about, the trades and the things like that.
Yes.
So we're going to come back to you guys on Friday with another updated episode of Panther Sports Zone and Across the Board and give you guys all the live stats for sports here at Prairie View. It's been an honor to be with you guys. My name is Khalid.
And I'm Kenneth Richardson.
And we'll see you guys in the next installment of Panther Sports Zone.